Greetings, everybody. You know my position about getting involved in married people business. And so I'm going to say a lot in this video. But at the end of the day, I'm still leaving room for these persons to reconcile their differences. But I'm going to look at it from the point of view of relatives or people getting involved in age gap relationships or people entering a relationship where there is an extension or an extended family. We have to be so careful. Now I'm going to start telling you the story about this woman who I have known since I was 5 years old. And she is the only person, at least the only friend that I have today that knew me as a child. And this is why I'm very close to this. Now, this friend of mine, when she was 19, a man came to her parents, her father in particular, and asked for her hand in marriage. These are church people, okay? And at that time, that's how it worked. And the kind of parents that she had, they were old fashioned. The man had to come and talk to the father first. And so the man came to the father and asked for her hand in marriage. She was 19 years old, and the man was 30 years older or thereabout, give or take. Okay. Now, the father agreed, and she married this man, and she came to Canada. And right after she came to Canada, she got pregnant with her first child. Her first child and my first child are very similar in age, just months apart. She had her second child and she had her third child in a very short time. Her husband's last child was only a few years older than she was. From the day she came to this country, his children from his previous relationship, I'm not sure if it was marriage or not, from his previous relationship started telling her that she only married him just for papers. And so she came and she got pregnant once, twice, three times. And during this time, they started cursing her and saying that she just wanted to use the old man and that she was breeding up and having all these children. And so she knew what her intention was and she loved this man. And so she went back to school and became a nurse. And this woman worked some crazy shift at the hospital, and she was also a community nurse. I can speak from experience because there was a time when I had someone staying with me and I tried to get that person that was staying with me, I'm sure you remember the story, to go and take care of this older couple just to give their daughter a break. She is that nurse friend I was mentioning in that video. And when my friend didn't want to take the job because it was beneath her, I took time off from my place just to go help out my friend looking after the Greek couple. And I was at the house because I was there for a week one time and another week another time when she asked me. And she was coming to look after that couple, dress their wounds or whatever it is you do as a nurse at night. She would work some crazy hours. And if you know nurses and their schedule, you know that at the end of the year, sometimes they owe back taxes because of the hours that they work. That's the kind of person that this person is. And long after her husband retired, she continued to work. She is still um, working with the hospital, except that she's off because she's ill at the moment. Her husband Her husband's children terrorized her for years. Now, here's the thing. She's been sick so much throughout the years. She's always getting surgery on her back, surgery on her arms, surgery. Sometimes they remove things from her body that not even the medical people can explain. When she goes, let me pause. She purchased a home in Jamaica. And the home is long paid off. Her husband told me how much he admired her because she worked so hard, purchased her home in Jamaica, paid it all off, and still run the household that's here. Now, the husband had a house that he purchased when she came here, and they together paid off that home as well. When you talk about ambitious, we're talking about this friend of mine. But over the years, her husband's children kept coming to her and asking her when she's going to leave out of her matrimonial home so that they can sell it and get their inheritance. And the home she purchased that her husband told me was all her doing, they're now asking her when is she going to sell that house in Jamaica. Keep in mind, she has 3 children. Keep in mind, these are old Takirams that have been married, and when them and their relationship ends, their husband have to provide them with half of whatever they own. So they own what their husbands have, and now they're telling the lady that she should sell the property that she worked so hard and purchase and give it to them. She said that when they're going to Jamaica, they make plans with her husband to pick up the keys and go to stay in a house that is hers. And if that is not bad enough, recently she went into the hospital. Now I'm going to share a dream. I think I might have, but I'm going to share it again. I saw my friend with something sewn in the hem of her garment, something like a metal, and it had this kind of magnet kind of thing to it. When you touch it, it pulls like a magnet. When she told me she was going to have surgery, I didn't ask her on what. I do not ask people their medical information. I think it's inappropriate. I wish her the best with her health and hope that everything went well with her surgery. When she was in the hospital, she sent me a photo of herself, and I immediately rebuked her to say, I don't want to see that, because guess what, people? When I saw the photo, I saw something around her photo that looked very dark, very sinister. It was very scary. I rebuked her immediately, and that rebuke could have been misunderstood. I said to her, I do not want to see that. Do not share any of your pictures while you're in the hospital, attached to tubes or oxygen or any of those things. Those things are life giving or producing. And if it's negative and the wrong person gets a hold of that, it's not good for you. After she came out of surgery, when I reached out to her, she told me that she wasn't speaking properly, that she was stuttering, and some other things that I'm not going to disclose here. And when she sent me a voice note with her voice, it was very frightening. I went back to her again and I said, I'm sorry, I cannot kick this. That in my spirit, I keep getting asked the question, what is sewn up in your hem? I asked her to get her child to check her clothes, to check her purse to see if there's anything strange with metal. And after I asked her the second time, she said to give her the dream again because perhaps she might have some explanation for the dream. Long and short of the story, when she pulled her file, she found out that a needle had broken off and went up somewhere about in her spine. And so imagine the excruciating pain that she's going through. And while she's going through this, her husband comes to the hospital and tell her that she's supposed to let go all the hostility geared or sent towards her in 32 years. And he took a plane and he went to Jamaica because he lives there in the wintertime. He left his wife stranded in pain and with so much uncertainty, still scheduled for another surgery. And his children come into their matrimonial home of 32 years and asking her when she's going to get out so they can have it. We're not talking about Jamaica here. We're talking about Canada, where there are rules to protect a wife. If you're separated from your wife and your husband go out and purchase a home, they have to put her name on it too because they're still married. And she has lived in this matrimonial home for at least 30 years. Let's put it that way. At least 30 years. Now, I'm sharing this because I think it is these are the example of why our people cannot be any better, because our intention towards each other is pure evil. So she's suffering. She's going through all kinds of things. And her husband is not around. But his children target her every single day. And the only thing I can tell her is that you need to get the authorities involved. First and foremost, when they come to your house, you need to call the police. And secondly, you need to get your husband to confront these individuals about what they're doing. But can he confront them? When it is only, in my humble opinion, that he is actually doing that. He's the one who is encouraging them to terrorize this poor woman. 19 years old when she married him. And because she's still married to this man, I'm going to hold my tongue. Because some of the things I'm saying, they would not be nice. Now, she's not just my friend, her partner is too. And the reason why I'm sharing this story is because I asked her permission, because there's not much I can do. But I feel if I talk about it, somehow her husband might see it. And when he hear the story being told, he'll see how disgusting and how horrible it is. It's not a situation where I'll tell her, be with him or don't be with him. The only thing I'll say to her is protect your interest and protect the interest of your children. It's one thing to let go your matrimonial home because he purchased it, but you're the one who is still paying on it. And if you let that go, you still should never let go your home that you work hard and purchased. I am witness to that because he told me long after he retired that you purchased this home. I remember when she went to Jamaica. I remember when she went to the Jamaica National Bank and brought her income tax receipts and so on so she could get this place. I remember how she negotiated with the person who owned the home and how he fell in love with her and said that he wanted her to have that home. Listen, wickedness Wickedness will never stop, will never go out of this world because the hearts of men and women are very, very wicked. I'm encouraging my friend to stay safe, to be very careful because, she is in danger. And the only sad part of it for me is that her husband doesn't seem to be supporting her. Her husband has gone behind her back with his adult children to take money off their home. And the bank had to call her. It was the bank who notified her. She's very quiet. She's very humble. She's a church lady. And I think because they don't know of her having any G-men family members, they're taking the P. But I'm telling you, the universe is open and it sees all things. And sometimes when we are laying traps for other persons, we fail to understand that we're going to fall into the same trap. What they're doing to this lady is very wicked. It's very evil. These relatives and family members are evil. But listen, the reason why I talk about it, they're not alone. And what I see her going through is warning for me to take heed and to be careful and to protect myself and my interests. Stay blessed, everyone.